So you said, your sister suggested to speak to somebody, and you said, like, in your country and culture, like, we don't do that. As you know,
We don't do that.
Americans make it very trendy, right? And Londoners are kind of slowly catching up, the UK. So when you say we don't do that, what stopped you from doing it? Because obviously, the majority of Nigerians may not, but was it based on them not doing it while you thought I can't do it either? What was that? What was that for you?
Well, I thought, first of all, in Nigeria, we are tough. We are raised to be tough. There's nothing you can't survive in Nigeria. Like, we leave our country and go to other countries and we become the best of the best of the best. So we are raised to be really tough. And in my country, we just don't do all that stuff. We don't do like talking to a shrink. We don't do it. Basically, mental health is all about you being tough. You can talk to your sister, you can talk to a friend, or you can go to church, talk to a pastor, talk to, we kind of take most things to God, because maybe that's because the government is incompetent. The government here is incompetent. They don't take responsibility. So we take most things to God and we spiritualize almost everything. I'm not saying that's good. I'm just telling you what we do.
I'm so
Do you get what I'm saying?
And the reason I'm going to say this ain't the kind of topic where I start injecting stuff and taking it left. So I'm going to allow you to roll with that. But for the record, I need to make a disclaimer. Yeah, I'm going to be responsible and make a disclaimer. When it comes to self-help, please, 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 no matter what race, culture, country you're from or dwelling or residing, okay? There's nothing tough about suffering in silence. 1 minute, Javon.
True.
1 minute, I'm going to say this as a disclaimer, if I have to, right?
Okay.
I'm never going to dictate to somebody else how they should navigate their emotions. I'm not. But it is the complete opposite of tough to think that in the first place. So half the time, it's a case of ignorance and not knowing any better. And that's why our behavior and our characteristics negatively shows up in our relationships and our parenting styles. Listen to what I just said. It's based on not doing the things that we could have done, based on, Caribbeans don't do that, or Africans don't do that, Asians don't do this. And if you look at how we then parent our children, or how you then navigate your love life, these are where the errors show up massively, and problems start right there. So, disclaimer, guys, it's never a weakness. It's okay to talk about what you're going through. How did you navigate your emotions if you're not kind of nurtured and you also felt like, I'm not going to talk to anybody? What did you do with your feelings and your thoughts? Where did it go?
First of all, I totally agree with everything you just said. And to navigate my emotions, I had to do a lot of research.
You did book therapy. You did book therapy.
Book therapy, yeah. I got on the internet, I surfed the internet, because I believe in DIY, that's do it yourself. Okay. So, I believe in do it yourself. I found out about grief counseling. I'd never heard about grief counseling before in my life. In my life, I never heard about grief counseling, because in my country, we don't do stuff like that. We don't do grief counseling. So I heard about grief counseling. I started learning a lot of stuff on my own. I heard about grief counseling, then I prayed a lot too, and I started going out a lot. I started occupying my mind with a lot of stuff, because I knew that I just couldn't stay indoors brooding and crying and all that. So I spent a lot of time outside, talking to people, just getting to know more and more people. Sometimes I'll just take a walk. I took my health more seriously, because I was beginning to, I took my health more seriously. So basically, that's book therapy. That's how I just handled it. And with time, I just started getting better. I realized that grief is nothing but extended self-pity, Because when somebody dies, yeah, grief is nothing but extended self-pity. That's what I got from my research. Because when somebody dies, you know you're gonna die too. And that knowledge kind of goes deep into you, and you mourn that person, but you're also mourning yourself, because you know what happened to them is going to happen to you. So basically it's a psychological stuff, because it's like a proverb. When a person dies, it's like a proverb to you. You're next, but maybe not immediately, but maybe in 50 years, 60 years, 70 years, you know what I mean? So that's why according to the book, that's according to my research, that's why, that's part of the reason why we mourn. But the major reason is because you love the person, and that love turns into pain. When you lose someone, that love turns into pain, because if you don't love someone, you're not gonna mourn them. You can't mourn someone you don't love. So that love turns into pain. So I started to recognize my feelings and why I was feeling that way. Amazing. The feeling of anger, it was there because, I realized I was helpless. And I'm not used to being helpless. That's where the anger was coming from. There was nothing I could do to save her. I saved her before, but I couldn't do that now. So I was angry. You know what I mean?
Allow me to jump in, Giovanni. I think you're remarkable, because what you're actually showing us and sharing with us is you are able to self-regulate. You are very capable of tapping within and doing your own inner therapy. Not everybody needs external therapy. That's the thing. So you were able,
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Clearly you found the tools. And what you're doing is you're also sharing with us insights that maybe no one thought about in the way that you've gone about it. This is a topic, and I said to somebody the other day, and I've said it before, when a friend's parent or partner or someone close to them passes away, what do you say to them? And the first thing you're asking is, how are you? It sounds like a very silly question to ask somebody. Clearly they're not all right, but I've never in my life been able to know the appropriate thing to say. We say condolences, we say I'm here if you need me, we check in, and as one people get on with their own lives after, but and then you have the community of people, which is depending on what culture you're from, someone passes away in the neighborhood and everyone in that community goes and supports. Unfortunately, but fortunately, I don't attend any form of gatherings or any forms of funerals unless I'm super, 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 super close to that person. Literally, it could be a relative, and unless I'm close to you, I don't go. And this is going to sound shocking, guys. It's only from last year that I've actually been comfortable in my everyday life, not just coasting it, being able to talk about what I want and making preparations for myself, which I've now done. Yeah. So that's a topic that I do want to cover and I'm going to mention it now in case anyone wants to talk to me about it as well. At what age do you start considering what you want for yourself? Out of all the turn-ups and the partying and everything else, have you considered if anything happens to you today, have you written a letter and put it in your drawers? People think about, putting down whether it's with insurance, whether it's going directly to a funeral home and paying off what you have decided that you want. It's very important that I mention this, because I think that we've been taught that it's thousands. You don't have to spend thousands and thousands on a funeral. That's your choice. It can be as cheap as £800, £1,000, £2,000 to cover what you want. And that could just be as simple as no frills, cremation. So I'm at that big girl stage. And in my latter age, I've, now got to grips of having to talk about what that looks like for me, and I've made those plans. So maybe we can do a part 2 of somebody watching this on, at what age do you start discussing with your children and your family what you want.